Okay, go.
My name is Helen Davis, and I'm an employee of the DeWitt District Library, and I am reading The Woman at the Light by Joanna Brady. This is a fictional story about a woman who became a lighthouse keeper at an island off Key West, Florida in the early 1800s. The author actually was inspired by real women who actually were lighthouse keepers in that area at the time. What often happened, and is the case in this novelization, is a woman named Emily Lowry was there with her husband and family, 3 children, tending the lighthouse on what they called Wrecker's Key. The area around Key West has a lot of shoals that, of course, were not dredged at this time, was very dangerous to shipping, so the maintenance of the lighthouses was very important. But it's a hard life. Family of the lighthouse keeper has to be self-sufficient for long periods of time. They usually were growing their own food, and keeping the lighthouse lit at all times was not an easy job. Well, one day, Emily's husband Martin went out fishing in their small boat, and he never returned. She hoped continuously that he would come back, but a long period of time, and he never did. So everybody presumed that he'd been lost in a storm or something had happened to him while he was fishing. So Emily was able to take over the care of the lighthouse, but it was a very difficult job, especially when she realized that she was pregnant with another child. She was struggling to do all the heavy work that involved polishing the lenses, getting the oil up, trimming the wicks on the lights that certainly were not electric at this time. And her children started acting a little strangely, a little secretively, and food seemed to be missing from their house. She finally found out what was happening. The children had been hiding an escaped convict in one of their sheds. When she found out where he was filthy, but he begged her not to turn him in. He was so unkempt, even though he was an articulate man. She gave him a little bit of chance to clean up and be well fed. Of course, at this time, it was definitely an illegal act to harbor an escaped slave. So Emily was taking a big risk. But he became an important part of their life, and this is, as I say, a very intriguing book that gives you a lot of insight into the history of the area. There were Indian wars and threats to families in the area. This area was also one that essentially supported themselves on the misfortune of boats that were wrecked. And it was also a beautiful physical area when it was not quite as filled with people as it is now. Key West is still a fun place, but this book gives you a different perspective on what the origin of Key West truly was.